Hi guys. If you saw the title of this video, let me just tell you ahead of time. I'm gonna look like crap through this. I spent all of earlier filming, and this is yesterday's hair, which is getting where I can see it in the monitor. There's like things happening because I put it up on my head. I was thinking about doing this video, but then I was like, you know what? I just want to stick to content right now. Just stick to what people need help with when it comes to stimulus, right? But you saw the title of this video. Didn't happen. And in fact, I've had a harder and harder time making it happen over the last couple months. So I just want you all to know this is not a stimulus video. This is like a just sit and chill video, right? I thought I would kind of talk about some of the things that are going on with me, with the channel, and kind of how I'm dealing with some stuff. Maybe it will help somebody else, or maybe, I don't know. It'll just, it'll be entertaining. I don't know if this will be entertaining or not, but also, if I sound funny, I just put on some body spray. I'm having a slight reaction to it. Of course, of course. I should just go and do my nebulizer. For those of you that don't know, for people who have asthma, nebulizer is it's it's like a long electronic inhaler. Well, long. It can be. It used to be the treatments used to be like 15 minutes long. I think they're maybe 5 or 6 now, depending. But I never use the full medication. It's just steroids in your lungs, and I try to avoid it if at all possible. But things happen and sometimes I still have reactions to things. So, but it's kind of a perfect metaphor for this video. So I thought I'd tell you guys a little bit about Thanksgiving and kind of what's been going on over the last couple months and where we're at now. So, I guess the first things first, I'm going through a little bit of stress, and it's okay. Cause I mean, my goodness, I don't want to complain at all, especially to you guys. Like, I feel I'm so blessed, but my situation is still like scary, if that makes sense. I'm blessed to be in the position I'm at in life right now. Um, but I'm only here because of the kindness of one person, and that's the person I live with. So I'm gonna open up a little bit. This is probably a bad idea. I've learned you try to keep you try to keep certain personal things separate on the internet, but I'll open up a little bit. So I've referred to the guy I live with as my boyfriend. It's easier to explain it to people that way. We've just been living friends for a while. He's basically been the person that's kept me alive. We are very close friends. It's kind of impossible to keep romance going when you gain all the weight that I've gained and you can't go anywhere. It's not like you can have any dates. And it's not a sad situation, guys. He's a wonderful person. We have very little in common. It's just what it is. So it's not like some horrible dramatic thing happened aside from me getting sick, and we would have parted ways eventually, but he has been kind enough to help keep me alive. Um, with that being said, holidays are a lot of times hard for me. I don't know, but I think they're hard for everybody, right? My situation is I was gonna say a little different, but honestly, I think there are a lot of people who are in similar situations to me, a ton of people, in fact. Um, Holidays are a very lonely time for me. It has gotten better over the years. I've especially like coming out of this illness. Um, One thing I can say about chronic illness, like with what I've just gone through, the dysautonomia, the POTS, the histamine disorder, all the other things we're trying to fix, and having it become, which at one time it was so life, could have been very bad. It was getting very bad. I don't want to say the wrong words because YouTube will just keep demonetizing things, which is what we're going to talk about that I'm having issues with right now. But in regard to all this, the holidays can be a bit of a difficult time. So, and the reason is because I don't have family that I celebrate the holidays with. In fact, I don't have any family in my life at all. I guess you could argue, is it by choice or is it by force? I feel like it's both, if that makes sense. I have family members. I don't want to go into any detail about it. But I have family members who are very toxic and they are very bad for my life. That is the light way to put it. These are people that when I was trying to figure out what was wrong with my illness, they decided that, I needed to go to a mental institution because something's mentally wrong with me. It is not a good situation. When in fact, and you would ask why. There are so many reasons why they would say that, but one reason is, and you guys have heard me open up about this, when you have a chronic condition and regular doctors can't figure it out, or even, like I'd even seen some cardiologist specialists, and they would just say it's anxiety. And this is standard for what a lot of doctors do. If they don't know what it is, they put down anxiety, they put down almost a form of mental illness because it's called CYA. It's covering their assets. It's covering them from lawsuits and things, right? So, and there's a whole lot more to that story that I don't really want to get into. It's not every family member that's like that, but it's either people who don't really care about my existence, or people who feed into that narrative, or it's people doing those harmful things to me. It's weird. There's this very strange, I mean, there's a few things like and the good thing is what I'd say is, I used to be, the holidays were very painful because even though I've had to make the choice to separate from them, I miss them. That's my DNA. There is some type of magnetic bond that you have with these people, and I miss them, and I miss being able to have family, but I also have to do what's right for me. However, it's very difficult. But one good thing about being as sick as I have is that, there were several months where I didn't do anything because I couldn't. And I had to constantly face a lot of the things from my past, from my family, right? Oh my gosh, nightly horrible nightmares about stuff. But I was confronting things and confronting people and confronting things that had happened to me and that sort of thing. So needless to say, I'm probably saying way too much, but holidays are not fun for me. I used to dread them. I don't really dread them anymore. To me, it's like if nothing horrible happens, it's a good day, right? But for me, there's no, birthdays, there's no celebrations, there's no cake. I mean, especially in my situation with my diet, but you know what I mean? There's no presents. Same thing on Christmas. There's nothing. There's no phone calls. I do have a small group of, wonderful friends that aren't anywhere nearby. I did a lot of jobs where I was traveling. So a lot of the people that I know were very spread out, and they will, message me and be very kind to me. And I appreciate that. But it gets hard. And I realize as I get older, a lot of people are in that situation. Or sometimes you have that dynamic that I have, but you're still involved with your family. And I'm not trying to say what you should or shouldn't do, because everybody's situation is different, and that's not my place. But it's a very weird dynamic. These are people that are the ones closest, right? They are exceptionally jealous because of all the things they've been able to do. But they are ready to tear my life apart the moment they see a weakness. It's really weird. And I think over the years I've analyzed it. Over the years I've come to understand what it is. And it's a part of it is just bullyism. There's just feeling entitled to be a bully to the weaker person that you see. So for instance, if I'm doing well and I look well per society standards, I'm praised, right? However, when it becomes a weakness or I become something that doesn't make you look good, then it's let's attack and get everything we can. So it's hard, and I have to keep very strong, firm boundaries there. And like I said, the gifts that I received in being as sick as I have, as horrible and torturous and scary as it's been, is it made me not be able to do anything, and I had to face a lot of different things. So my point is to say, holidays aren't nearly as depressing as what they used to be, right? They're not fun, but they're not it's not horrible, and I'm not horribly depressed on holidays. But this one was challenging, I'll tell you guys, and I know you guys following me know. The last, how long? 6 months. The last 6 months have been very challenging, right? For me, professionally. But then before that, the months before that were me fighting for my life and COVID. So it's been a challenge for it's been a challenge, but this extreme stress that happened with my former job has been really, really difficult. And getting this channel up and running is really difficult. And I thought I would talk a little bit about that. And also, like I said, talk about the holidays and by the way, this all comes together. This all combines. So one stressful thing is, and this is super fun, I thought everything was over with my company, the former company I was with. Nope. We're having one more date, and that's coming up this week for a court type of situation. And then I don't know where it's going to go from there. Everything is still the same in the sense the federal judges ruled in my favor on everything. All of that's still the same. So I don't want to go too much into detail. However, they are trying some very slick moves. It's funny because they don't know what they're doing. These are people, I kind of liken it. Have I told you guys this analogy? I've said it to friends. It's like if you guys watch Home Alone, you see the criminals on Home Alone, and they're these bumbling idiots that they just keep trying to go after things and keep, messing themselves up more and more. That's kind of, it feels like that's what I'm dealing with, because they're trying some really funny maneuvers, and it really shows, it's been really eye-opening about human nature overall. Very, very interesting. But so I'm in it's not bankruptcy court per se, but it's like the interim, if that makes sense. And so they have a lawyer, and they're trying some really funny things. I will keep you guys updated. When I can talk about it, I will. I will keep you guys updated. But that has caused, obviously, some stress. But then, since I started this channel, and I believe I started this in the beginning of October, right? Sound off in the comments. I think it's like the beginning-ish, October 2nd-ish, I think. I've struggled with it. You guys have made this channel so much fun, and you've grown it so quickly, and please don't take this as just a whining and complaining. I'm so grateful, and I'm so appreciative. I genuinely am. And I couldn't have done this without you guys and your support and the strength that you've given me, and I'm so grateful for every single one of you in this situation. You guys made this great. So it's been very difficult, though, because I want to grow this channel quickly. And so everything I'm saying, please understand this has nothing to do with y'all. This is daily life minutia and YouTube I'm about to talk about. I keep trying to make 3 videos a day. 3 videos a day, I think, is what I can-ish do and keep my health intact. Sometimes it's 2, but I want to try to do 3. I know how to build this momentum. I know how to grow it, right? And this is not as hot a topic as it was a few months ago, but it's still a pretty hot topic, and it's just going to become more and more hot. Like, I can see where things are going, and I still have several months that I can talk about this stuff, right? And that I can try to help people. I mean, we hope that's not the case, but let's be honest with what our federal government is. And I've been trying to tell you guys, like, here's some good signs, but here's what it looks like is coming. And we have all this other weird stuff with the election, right? So, I don't know. We're in this real interesting situation with all of this. And I feel like I sometimes get really, I can be really hard on myself. I can be really, really hard on myself. Do you guys sound off in the comments if you're the same way? I'm a perfectionist. It's weird. I'm not a perfectionist with the people around me, but I am with myself. Like, I'm one of those people, I'm not in competition with any of y'all. I'm in competition with me. Does that make sense? And I set these insanely high standards for myself that if I don't meet, I beat myself up over. This is something I'm having to work on. It's weird because on the one hand, it's helped make me successful in things, but on the other hand, it's also not good to do to yourself, within reason. And sometimes I kind of cross that line with myself. Not to anything that's horrifically damaging. It's just more about what's healthy for me as a person mentally, right? And I've struggled. I've struggled because I had really good views coming out the gate, and I couldn't sustain it because for the first month, my health was shot. As you guys know, I kind of told you all about it. My health was just shot. By the way, I drank really hot tea, and I think I'm starting to sweat a little. I should not be filming this video right now. I look like a mess. Hold on. Let me put on, I'm going to put on a headband. I'm also, like, secret side note, I'm not wearing a bra. Like, I'm a mess in this video, y'all. Oh, I forgot I had these headbands, but I saw them right there. Okay, I'm going to put on a white one. So maybe, it's probably going to give me a headache. So do I have a big head? Sound off. Do I have a big head? I don't mean that as, like, good or bad, whatever size head you have, rock that. Your brain is in there. Do what you can. Okay. This feels better. Maybe if I just took off the hoodie, but then I'd have to put on a bra. Who wants to put on a bra when they don't have to? What was I saying? I don't know what I was talking about. Being hard on myself, right? So I can get really hard on myself, and that's something I'm having to work on. And the channel did really well in the very beginning, and then views started to slip. But that's also to be expected because I don't have an algorithm. Like, I don't have anything built up for the channel. It was all just based off of you guys. And I'm just like this. So believe me when I'm like, you guys are just amazing. And I'm so grateful for all of you. This is all YouTube stuff. But then this last month, I just went through periods of exhaustion and the gastroparesis stomach stuff that happened as a result of the extreme stress in August. Thank you, former company. It doesn't really affect me as much anymore, but, not to the extent that it did. And something else that's happening is I'm learning where I'm at in trying to heal my chronic illness issues. This is also a normal part of it is so some of the things you fix, like the nervous system, that's dysautonomia, I have a nervous system issue. It's towards the middle or kind of later half that you start to fix that. But the nervous system gets really weird. It starts to act up and do really weird things when you fix it. Or when it's starting to really heal. And so, but part of that is an extreme bout of exhaustion. It's the craziest feeling. So it's this, so what happens a lot of times is, well, first I'll feel the exhaustion, but y'all know me, I try to push through it. And if I do, which I typically do, it can backfire because there's this thing called your vagus nerve. It goes from like your butt to your brain, right? And it's a nerve that it's the nervous system kind of controls a lot of stuff with. And I'll start to feel it act up, and I'll feel this weird weakness and pressure, and it goes up and down. It just feels like, I tell people, I'm like, it feels like this weird alien crawling from my butt to my mouth. It's so weird, y'all. It is not fun either. And so that's acted up in October. That was a big one, and some in November. November got better, but what I've had to do, guys, is I've been really forced to have to take breaks. So I can't build the channel the way I want, and I'm so frustrated. I'm so like, and I try to keep it to myself, but I'm beyond frustrated. And since I did that election content, I've also had issues with monetization. Not extreme, but if I put up 3 videos a day, there might be one that's not monetized. And I have the most amazing network and the most amazing people I work with, and they help me and they are on it. Like, most people don't get to get on networks. So I'm so like, the amount of gratitude I have towards them is amazing. And they typically can get things done and get me helped fairly quickly. But this is constantly messing up me trying to build. And also part of it is, this channel is considered a new channel, right? And I try to think about this, like with the former channel, it took me about the 2-month mark to really start having those big upswings to sustain. I've had a couple days, well, I had a day recently, and I want to thank you guys so much because I was so grateful. I had a big upswing. I think we did like right around 25,000 views for the day. That's huge for this channel. Right now, I'm typically, for 3 videos, I'm clocking on the low end, maybe 9 or 10,000, on the higher end, 14 to 15,000. So thank you guys so much for making that happen. It was last week and it was amazing. But I couldn't ride that. Typically, if you have a big upswing, if you do things right, you can ride it. But I'm also realizing, because the channel's so new, the channel doesn't have a rating yet, is what they call it. This is all getting somewhere, I promise. I just keep having a series of things where things get in the way. Or like that ice storm that happened. Couldn't upload for a few days. It's like, I swear, and y'all know me, I will get through anything and push through anything. You guys had watched me work on that other channel, right? And it's stuff that keeps getting in the way that is totally 1,000% out of my control. And I've had to just start, I have had to do this. I've had to stop beating myself up and say, there's nothing I can do, go relax. Because relaxing helps everything with my health, and that's what I've been doing. And I keep hoping, and this is the other thing, like, what I'm saying, it's not like this is new concept. This is welcome to being an adult, right? Y'all are going through this, and you guys are going through things 100 times worse than I am, so I get it. I totally get it. It's just one thing after another, and being bombarded to where I'm just in this place where what I make on YouTube right now, I can barely get by. I'm just barely getting by, and I'm grateful for what I do have. On top of this continuing stuff with the former company, it's, the health stuff. It's a lot. I'm grateful because I know it can be worse. Oh my goodness, and it has been worse. So I am very grateful, and that makes me happy. But I'm also recognizing it's okay that I recognize that I'm frustrated. So I've just been really frustrated, and why I made this video last minute looking like this is, once again, I put up a video, and it got demonetized, and I have no idea why. And a lot of times, guys, I will go through those videos that get demonetized, and many times I can pick out if maybe there's something that I missed, a word that could flag the system. Like, I think I told you guys about the word where if people want to go to different countries and they want to be there and they have to do things to do that, those words might start with an I-M-M, right? There might be an I in there. I don't even want to do that because I'm afraid. Like, YouTube has gotten so weird when it comes to this stuff. So I'm just having to go in extreme patience, extreme faith, and really stop beating myself up. But let me tell you the piece de la resistance of this. So I keep having things happen, stuff that's out of my control, stuff I can't pile drive through, right? So we have Thanksgiving, which is already hard enough. It's the night before Thanksgiving, night before. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm doing, the videos are because every time what happens is I'll upload for 3 or 4 days. I start to build traction. Something happens. I can't upload. I go back down. It's just up and down. So I'm feeling good. I'm like, I'm building some traction. I'm going to relax. Spilt water all over my computer. Doesn't work. And it's funny because I found out from people that that computer may not actually be legitimate, please infer. So I'm looking at this going, I'll probably just have to go to the police and turn it over anyways, because I found out that computer that's from the former company, they tend to not be very legitimate in a lot of the equipment they get, please infer. So that's something I have to look into anyway. And I sat there and I just started sobbing because I was like, oh my gosh. And it wasn't, you know, when you do something like that electronic, the first thing you want to do, you want to turn everything off and get it shut. It turned off on its own. I was like, yep, I'm done. I've never done that before, guys. I've never done that with electronic. I'm very, very, like, I can be a little bit sloppy with some things in my life. Long story to that. Don't want to go into that. But I'm really good about, you know, technology and that sort of thing. And I'm looking at this going, $3,000 down the hole that I don't really have to spend on something like this. What am I going to do? And I sat there and I went, okay, this is the night before Christmas, or not for Christmas, the night before Thanksgiving. What's going to be open, right? Black Friday. And then it dawned on me, nothing. This is the one time out of how many days, right? Or days, how many years we've had this war with retailers and Black Friday, right? And I'm like, this is the time where they're all closed. And I looked it up and sure enough, every place is closed. I'm like, I can't do anything. And guys, understand also with what I have with my illness, and also not just the illness, but the way YouTube works with the demonetization. I try to do my videos the day before. Some I do the day of, depending on how breaking something is. But I try to get them done ahead of time as much as I can to give that buffer room for, does it need to be monetized? It can take anywhere from, you know, 3 or 4 hours to 4 days to get something monetized. It gets crazy, guys. It just depends, right? So with all this being said, my heart sank. I'm like, so this is going to be a ton of money that I don't really have. I mean, I could find it from places, but it's not really safe for me to spend, if that makes sense. And nothing's even going to be open for a couple days. What do I do? What do I do? And I just broke down. And luckily, you know, I'm just going to call him boyfriend. He's not boyfriend, but he came to me and tried to help me through it and helped me as much as he could and said, so here's the situation. I don't think there's any way we can get around you being able to get something on Thanksgiving, right? Which I know this is going to sound silly, guys, but was really, really hard for me because I thought Thanksgiving, I'm going to keep myself busy. It's holiday. Holidays aren't really good with me. You know, they're not as bad, but I'm like, I'm going to relax, but I'm going to get stuff done ahead of time. Because I was already thinking I'll probably take Thanksgiving off, possibly, or put up some personal videos, right? And couldn't do anything. And you might think, well, couldn't you just do something without all your setup? So it went as far as that I have an SD card that I use for the camera. And my boyfriend was even like, you can use my computer. He has no SD card hookup. So I'd have to get, I don't know if you guys can see it. I'll show it to you. I'd have to get what I finally got, which is this thing. And it's kind of an adapter for all these different plugins, basically. And yeah, there was nothing I could do. There was literally, I was sitting there going, so even if I wanted to film, I couldn't. And the type of videos I do, I can't just use my phone for, nor do I have the space. It's, again, story time. So I sat there going, there's nothing I can do. And I think we're all in, a lot of us are in this situation right now where there's a lot of surrender is what I call it. You know, and I've talked a little bit about this. I'm a very spiritual person. I don't talk about it a lot only because for me, there's nothing to talk about. I don't adhere to any religion. I'm a big mismatch of a ton of things. I would say I have more of a Buddhist and Taoist kind of mindset. I still take a lot of the things from the New Age movement, just not the crap or what I think is crap. And I also have a lot of remnants. It's funny, the older I get when I'm around Christians, they think I'm more Christian than anything else. So I just take different things from places, you know, that feel right to me. And to me, all spirituality is, these are the tools I use to try to get through this world and make it the best way possible as I can. That's how I look at spirituality. These are just my tools. And it's not something I really talk about because it's more of a solo thing for me. You know, I'm not somebody that needs to find community in it or that sort of thing. And there's no name for what I am. Like, it's, you know, it's just kind of my own thing. So I don't talk much about it, but you know, a lot of the religions, the philosophies, spiritual philosophies talk about just kind of surrendering, just trying to, whatever is going on, let go of all your wants, let go of your thoughts, let go of everything and just say, okay, this is the situation. Right now, there's no solution. There's nothing I can do. But I do my best just to have faith. And when I say have faith, I'm not necessarily meaning some type of religious faith. Well, I'm not saying I'm not either. To me, faith is just, or at least in this situation, it's a belief that things will work out the way that they need to for everybody's best, highest, and good. Even if it's not the way I want it to work out, even if I think it's working out badly, even if I can't see that, because there's always gifts in something that's brought to you, even if it's not what you want or it doesn't look good for you. So that's what I'm trying to do, and I'm just really frustrated because, like I said, I just keep trying to grow this channel. I keep trying to get myself in a better place because I'm like, getting myself in a better place is going to help get you guys in a better place. And I feel like we're all trying to pull each other up, and yet we're all just in this situation where we're continually being pulled down. And I'll tell you what the outcome was. The boyfriend said, I have a Best Buy credit card, and it has enough to be able to get you a new computer. And I just cried. And the payments aren't crazy. But it's another expense, right? Every month. And we were able to order it. There was like one in the whole Oklahoma City area because it's Oklahoma, but we were able to get it. And the boyfriend, who is well, I'm just going to call him that because I don't know what else to refer to him as. He went up to a Best Buy at 5 a.m. Oh, that was the other thing. I'm like, we're going to do this on Black Friday. Oh, fun. And this is an Apple product. Apple products typically aren't going to be super reduced in price. It's not like we're getting a deal. He went up there when they opened, and I also thought this too, because it's Oklahoma. I don't think there's going to be a ton of people there, and it's COVID season, and I was right. But he went up there super early to get it for me so I could have it. And then I was excited because I'm like, okay, this is the 26th. I got it, yay! And that day, no joke, I'm too exhausted. I'm too sick to work. What is happening? And I swear, it's just been a consistent string of things just like this over the last 2 months. And I'm not somebody, I don't like to make excuses. I don't like to sit around. I want to get stuff done. Y'all know me. You've watched me work. And this is just very difficult. It's been very difficult to keep having these situations happen and having these things coming up. And like I said, holidays are already hard enough. And so to take away my lifeline of whatever, and this is the other thing. YouTube is kind of it's a bit of a make it or break it situation for me because of my chronic illness issues. This is what I can do at the moment from my home to make money. I can't go out and get a normal job in my pre-existing conditions. It wouldn't be safe anyway with everything going on outside of just what I'm able to do. So I kind of have to make this work. And there's a lot of fear and paranoia that comes up in me. Can I do this again? Can I actually be successful at this again? Can I grow this again? Is the topic like all of these things? And I'm just in this point of having extreme faith. And the faith is whatever is happening, there is a reason for it. I may not be able to see it and I may not like it, but there is, in my opinion, I'll tell you what my opinion is. Oh, hold on, I have an itch. I have an itch, I don't know why. I can't see. Okay, so this is my opinion of things. I feel like, and I'm not telling you guys what to think or feel, so please, I hope it doesn't translate that I'm saying you have to think or feel the way I do, because I'm not. That's not how I operate. I think everybody's, spiritual or religious experiences are their own, and everybody has different tools they need depending on what type of life they have and the things that have happened to them, the way they've grown up, their culture, all different types of stuff. I lost my train of thought. I don't really want to edit much of this. Sometimes you guys don't see it. It's not often, but like I'm having a day today where it's a bad histamine day because the weather's getting really cold. So when it drops histamines and I just feel like I'm constantly being run over by a truck. And as long as I can get through it, it's super uncomfortable. I don't like it, but I can film through it. But a lot of times I all of a sudden just have these brain lapses because of it. Used to be really horrible brain fog. I had a hard time reading, had a hard time writing, interpreting and understanding information sometimes. It was bad. It typically isn't that bad now. What was I saying? Where was I going with all this? Oh, so yeah. So, I have this belief that there is something that is beyond us, but also a part of us, right? That's some type of higher positive force. I don't like to put a name on it, like God, source, love, universe, all there. Like there's Buddha. There are so many names. Allah. There's so many names people can put on it. I also grew up in a very Midwestern conservative area in the 90s. And please very much hear me when I say it was the 90s, because the 90s conservatives are not the same as today's conservatives at all. I grew up during a time and during an area where if you weren't some type of strict Christianity, you are going to HELL and you are evil. So I've had, I faced a lot of discrimination when some people I thought were friends let it out there in school that, I'm looking at Buddhism and all these things. I've always been a spiritual seeker. And and there was some outcast as a result. And not a big deal. It wasn't that big a deal. Honestly, I'm such an outgoing person that I was mostly liked, I guess. Some caveats, but stuff I could get into maybe in a video if you were interested in. Now that my high school self even matters, I'm a very different person from when I was there, or fingers crossed. Like, I was still me, but yeah, I had to super get humbled in life, like I think a lot of us do, obviously. And I think illness has been a very good thing that's helped me get super, super humble. But I do think there's this higher positive power and force. I don't put in the other part I was going to say, because I grew up in an area like that, I kind of have this connotation with the word God, because it was always used in such a negative context. I know it doesn't mean that for everybody, it's just for me. So I try not to put a name on what this is. Sometimes I just say the universe. I know it's super new age. But I do think there's this higher positive power that is always working for the betterment of everybody. Doesn't mean that there isn't negative stuff. I think there obviously is, and we see the effects of that a lot of times. And I think we get to have the choice of what path we want to choose. And sometimes you're choosing a negative path or to be a negative person. Sometimes you don't even know it. You have to learn, right? Or sometimes, like this is a lot of my life, was I grew up with a lot of really bad habits from the people, the family members I was around, thinking those were normal. You guys do that? You know what I'm talking about? When you get out in the real world, sometime in your late teens, and you realize, oh, not everybody's families are weird and dysfunctional like mine, and your mind is blown, but it can take several years to like untwist and uncover all of that, right? So it's very interesting. But I'm just at the point where I'm doing my best to stay as positive as I can. But here's what I also do. Aside from staying positive, I try to recognize my emotions. So for instance, I'm trying to stay positive and not let my mind do a negative spiral downward. Sometimes you can get something bad can happen and you just start to spiral downward with everything bad's gonna happen. Like, y'all ever seen the show Shameless? The show Shameless. That's so weird to say. The show Shameless. I used to be a fan, and I know that's almost over. I think the seasons are almost over. I can't really watch it anymore because it's just a lot of people who are in bad situations, and they started out in bad situations, but then they make mistakes from being in those situations and keep making worse, or they'll spiral down. I see a lot of something bad happens and they spiral downward and just destroy their lives, right? And I get it. I understand. And no disrespect to the show. I think it's a great show. And some things I don't agree with, but that's anything, right? But I try not to spiral downward. So I'm like, you know what? But I honor my feelings. So, like, for instance, something in the New Age community, they try to do all this forced positive, love and positivity that's forced all the time. And there's, you don't let fear and negativity in. And it's like, well, no, those are experiences you have, and you got to honor how you feel. Just do your best to not spiral with it, Like, for instance, you've heard these kind of sayings and stuff. Something bad happens, allow yourself to cry for a while, be sad, then pick yourself up and keep going. And I think, and that's kind of what I try to do. I honor how I feel. So I had a day where I was flipping sad. I was sad and I was not feeling good about anything and not feeling okay about anything. And is anything going to work? And then those existential thoughts come in, right? But I tell myself, okay, I'm going to go to sleep. I'll wake up. Tomorrow's a new day, and miracles and good things can happen out of this. And I'm looking at this now and I'm saying, maybe something good's about to come. Maybe there's something good right around the corner where I need to get everything that has to do with that former company out of my life. And maybe this is why this has happened. Maybe there's some reason that whatever you want to call the universe, I feel like is holding me back from wanting to build the way that I want to. And maybe it's for my best and highest good, even if it's not what I want and even if I can't see it. So I'm just going to do my best to have faith in these situations, that this is all going to work out the way that it needs to. And that's what I'm trying to do. So I just thought I would share kind of some of what's been going on and the conclusions I've come to. And I don't know, see if maybe some of this helped y'all, or ask, what are you guys going through? Like, how are you coping? Like, this is what I'm doing to cope. And like I said, I really hope I'm not sounding like super whiny and complainy, because I'm so blessed. I think every day I'm alive that I am not laying in bed fighting for my life and having to fight with doctors that my heart rate's going up to 200 and we can't get it down. Something's wrong. Like, knowing that I'm not in that place I'm just grateful every day. I'm grateful every single flippin' day I'm alive. No matter how upset that I get, right? I try to keep that. And I can let myself be upset, but I still, when you go through those dark times, that's the great thing about the dark times is it gives you such a deep appreciation. And I think one big chunk of happiness has to do with appreciation. I think for a lot of us, when you're younger, you think happiness is about getting what you want. And as we get older, we realize most of the time you're not going to get what you want. You might get forms of it if you're lucky, right? You might have things happen, but most of us aren't really going to get what we want. But it's about going through those dark times so you can appreciate what you have and what you are given. And that appreciation is just brings you so much joy. And I think that's one of the reasons I'm so hyper. I've always kind of been hyper and bubbly, but even more so. Because I'm getting old. I'm 36. I probably shouldn't be this hyper and bubbly, right? And it's not like I'm ADHD or anything, but it's that I'm just so insanely grateful for small things. That's why sometimes I get a headband, I'm excited. I get little these little sprays. I've never had a travel size spray. The fact that I have one, so exciting to me. It's so I have so much gratitude and appreciation that I just have so much joy when I look at it. Or, just the simple stuff like on a summer day, being able to go out in my backyard and just sit in the sunshine and have the sunlight through the trees and the trees look sparkly and the leaves just look like they're sparkling. It's beautiful, and little things like that. So I just kind of wanted to share with you guys some of what's going on and just say, I think this is just something we're all going through on some level. Some people obviously have it way worse than others. I know a lot of you do, and I sympathize and my heart goes out to everybody. These are the tools that I'm using right now to try to get through these situations. And I am okay and I'm in a good situation, but I'm going off of the kindness of a former boyfriend who's become a very good friend. That's still a very fragile and delicate situation, even though we've been doing this for a few years and I have all this guilt because I feel like I'm holding you back because you can't really make a life with me here. So not just everything else, guys. I have this added pressure of I want to give him his life back and just gung ho. And I want to build this thing up so I can let him go live his life. Because he's not just going to leave me for dead, which I'm grateful for. And I feel so guilty. I feel so guilty. It's like I feel like I have to be guilty about being alive. Does that make sense? But I'm trying to remind myself, we both given each other a lot of gifts. Just as much as he's helped me, he tells me I've helped him in many ways. And I'm very grateful for him. And I try to tell myself, you know what? This is just the situation. There's a reason for this. And I just have to be patient, have faith, and every day do the best that I can with what I have and just have faith that's going to work out. And I feel like I said, we're all kind of in this similar place right now of that kind of sentimentality, right? You just try to do the best that you can, have faith that everything will work out the way that it needs to, even if it sucks, even if it's just awful. And that in the end, it will be okay on some level. No matter how bad you feel, no matter what you're going through, no matter how frustrating it is, it's going to work out and be okay. And if you can make changes, obviously do that. But when you can't, just allow yourself. This is what I do. Allow yourself to feel, allow yourself to be upset, but also know it's going to be okay. Don't spiral with it. And tomorrow is a new day and new things, new blessings, new miracles can come into your life. So I just thought I would leave y'all with that. That's it. This video isn't going to go anywhere. Watch. This will be the one that goes viral. This is not going to go viral, by the way. That's not going to happen. But this is just more kind of a personal video to you guys and let y'all know what's happening with me and how I'm feeling, and just also seeing where are you guys at with everything. What's going on with y'all? Sound off. Let me know. And how are you coping with stuff? That's how I'm doing it. So we'll see. And you know what? Tomorrow's a new day. December is a new month. And hopefully things are going to get better and better. It may take some time, some patience, some diligence, some work, whether or not that's physically getting out there and doing something or mentally just having to, do your best to kind of cope and keep things together. But we're going to get through this. I think so. And I think 2020 is just as hard as it is. Like I've said, 2020, the blessings are it's shown a light on so many things that need attention. And I'm hoping now we are going to be in the place to do that. So I love you guys so much. I'm so grateful. Like I said, I had my first big upswing outside of when the channel began a week ago. I cried. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for that. I'm so grateful. My gosh, I'm so grateful for everything y'all have done. I know I say it in almost every video, but you guys have really changed my life. You've given me a life while I'm sick. I know you guys think I'm out there helping people, and I try to, but you guys have changed my life and helped me just as much, and that's why I'm going to fight for y'all every single day that I can with stimulus. Okay, guys, take care and blessings, and I will see you soon. And I'm going to go take this hoodie off and just relax, not wearing a bra, put my hair up, and be done. All right, y'all, take care, blessings. I will see you soon, and we're going to get through this. We're going to get through this, y'all, together or separate, but I'm always here if you need me. Mwah, hugs and, wait, no, this is a hug, and that was the kiss. Hugs and kisses in whatever order that doesn't make sense, that makes sense to you, but maybe I didn't. Okay, I'm going to go. Bye, guys.